Hello again, everybody. We are about to embark on the creation of learning units. So I thought I'd take a little bit of time to discuss a guide for integrating technology and designing or developing a learning unit. For those of you who have never taken an education course with me or at another institution, we organize content or what we teach based on units of instruction. Those units then translate to lesson plans, which are like daily or hourly activities. So in this class, we're going to develop in the next couple weeks learning units, which focus on a theme. And the lesson plans will then include activities involving technology that will help students understand the concepts or the topics related to the learning unit themes. So basically, when we design instruction in education, we don't use technology as the sole purpose or the main idea. It's kind of like our assistant. It's the one that helps us kind of carry the message and make it understandable or easier to understand for the students and their learning needs. We always have to consider the needs of our students, of course, number one, our environment, so what resources do we have, and then, of course, the learning standards, which we learned about a little bit earlier to define what the learners are going to be expected to know and be able to do. Now, I don't want you to be confused by this little schematic here, but it's just trying to show you the design process and how we design instruction. There is a good chance that once you design your learning unit, you're going to have to make some changes and edits because we're constantly trying to revise and make things better in our instruction. Basically, when you design, you have to think about what you want students to be able to do by the end of this unit. I mean, what are your goals? What are the objectives, and how do they relate to the learning standards? And something we're going to talk about in the next slide, initiating activities and the guided learning activities and the culminating performance. So everything kind of ties together when you develop a learning unit. So when you think about the process, the initiating activity, this is what introduces students to what they'll be doing. So it could be a simple problem, or it could be as long as a lecture, like an introductory lecture on a particular concept. So for example, let's say you're going to design a learning unit on Earth Day. And Earth Day is coming up, and you want it to be a week-long learning unit, and everything that you're going to teach during that week is going to relate to some topic or concept related to sustainability, Earth Day. You might show a video to start the learning unit to get students interested. It's kind of like the hook. It gets them, to pay attention. Or it could be an overview of statistics about how much water we use. Talk about landfills or something like that that gets them thinking about the topic. The guided learning activities of our learning unit, that's kind of the longest part. This is like the list and the lesson plan components that explain all the activities that you're going to do with your students to help them understand that concept. So if it's about sustainability, maybe you're going to have them collect and recycle materials. Maybe you're going to have them create a chart or a diagram that organizes content. What can be recycled? What can't be recycled? Maybe you're going to have a math activity related to statistics or the probability of landfills filling within a certain time frame. The culminating performance is kind of like the final hurrah, like the celebration in a way, where students have the opportunity to demonstrate what you've taught them and what they've learned during the unit in some kind of grand fashion. Let me give you an example. Maybe you have them design a city based on green components if you're related to Earth Day and sustainability. Maybe they have to draw it. Maybe they have to create almost like a diorama. Maybe they have to, but whatever, it's related. It's that final piece that shows they understand the concepts or components or topics that you were working on and discussing and engaging in activities during the learning unit. Another way to look at this is called the backwards design process. Basically, we think about the culminating performance first, which I know sounds very strange, but in a way, if we want students to end up being able to create something from what they've learned, we should think about that first and then design activities that lead them to that process. This embodies the goals of the learners, so this performance is definitely related to standards. It's definitely related to everything that you want them to be able to do. So from that, you work backwards. So you start with that end product. You close your eyes and you think, this is what I want them to be able to do by the end, and then you think about all the activities, the charts, the graphs, the worksheets, the lectures, the videos, everything that connects to helping them do an awesome job on that and culminating performance. So when you design instruction, this is kind of a review for a lot of you who have taken Intro to Public Education, and if you haven't, that's no big deal. I have videos for you as well regarding lesson planning, but we always have to think about our objectives, and this is what students will be able to do, and we think about the activities that relate, strategies that we're going to use, maybe some technology that we're going to use as well and how it connects, and then the assessment piece, like the culminating performance, where students prove that they understand either in a test or a project, something that proves that they understand what we were working on during the unit of instruction. So some possible instructional strategies. Think about the actions of students when they have to read something, see something, hear something, say something, or do something. When we focus on the do column, that's kind of the great column, because that's where students use the most energy. That's where they possibly learn more, retain more when they actually ask them to do something. So let's take a look at some activities that could fit into your learning unit. First of all, you could create a presentation or demonstrate something. You can obviously talk about things, discuss things. But when you start kind of going into the problem-solving activities or the games where students will play games or maybe take part in a simulation where they have to act out, role play, things like that, it just goes a long way. So think about some of those strategies in your own learning unit. Also, you can also think about it in this perspective. Maybe you have a presentation as the initiating activity. Maybe you do a demonstration and show them something. Maybe you have discussions. Maybe you have some question and answers. That's what inquiry is all about. Some problem solving, where you give them a situation or something to think about, and then they come up with ideas in a team or a small group, large group. Maybe you have them play a game. So you could do small group games, large group games, and then the simulation, again, could be something that they do independently or something that you can do collectively. Some other strategies, of course, you can use PowerPoint or Prezi, Google Slides for presentations. Your demonstrations, you obviously might need an LCD projector. That's just the projectors that attach to the ceiling. Video capture, software, different things. You could do discussions in class. You could do them in email, or if you have something like our Canvas software at your school, you could have them take place online. You could do different things with chat rooms and collaboration sites. You can, use different online tools, virtual realities, simulations of real environments. There's lots of different neat software and things out there that can help students. As you can see here too, we have Bloom's taxonomy, which is something else that we study in education. Bloom's taxonomy basically is nothing to be afraid of. It's just a listing or a ranking of action related to learning. So the knowledge level is the very basic level. Basically, you're just people, places, and things, defining words, looking at things from a very basic standpoint. Comprehension is the next step up. That's just grasping the meaning. Ordering, you can just kind of see it on the screen, how we kind of bump up the learning level a little bit, make it a little bit more challenging for students. And so when you think about the backwards design process, I know it's a little intimidating, but I will show you examples of what the finished products look like so that you can kind of use them as a guide. Hopefully, once you see the examples, things will click. Let me know if you have any questions.